Hello everybody and welcome back to Juno New Origins, where apparently there was just an update that happened. So that's interesting. We can take a bit of a look through here on what's new. Apparently they added a new moon of Sergia, a proto-Earth covered in craters with liquid water in its equator and rings. Cool. Improved ground detail in Sergia as well, and detected a strange anomaly approaching the system. Okay. Overhauled the skybox to be more realistic and detailed. Sure. HDR textures, and a quality setting to increase the resolution of the skybox. We might have to investigate that a bit. Okay, overhauled image effects. Yep, looks good. Career mode tweaks. Changed how the orbit height requirement is displayed. Okay, yeah, that seems fine. Hopefully they fixed some of the career mode bugs that we've had an issue with. A new ultra global preset. Fascinating. Career mode bug fixes. Fixed a bug that could cause multiple crafts to have the same contract tracking ID. Could prevent a payload from being tracked if the player resumed quick flight or quick loaded before the payload was deployed. Okay. Could corrupt the contract tracking when splitting a craft. We had that happen, so hopefully that bug is actually fixed. That would be great. Null reference exception when attempting to highlight parts out of the physics range. Okay. And lookup tables being removed. Sure. So some bug fixes, a little bit of additional features. Nice. Okay, so that is not very relevant to what we need to do, of course. But first, I kind of want to go in and see what this new Ultra setting is. I did not see a difference. Okay. Between what I had here, anyway. So let's go ahead and apply this on Ultra. This will lead to a long loading screen the first time we get into flight. Go get some popcorn ready. Okay, so that is maybe fine. I can just cut that out of the video. That's not a problem. And yeah, it won't take effect until the next time the designer or solar system is loaded. That is okay. So let's see, what else do we have going on here? Presumably this is all completely maxed. We're in real-time reflections. High is the top. Unlimited seems right. Yeah, sun flare intensity, blah, blah, blah. HDR is actually on. Interesting. I didn't realize that. That's fine. We have tone mapping off right now. I don't think... Do we require tone mapping? Interesting that that doesn't live update. I guess the tone mapping doesn't happen on this screen. Okay, we're just going to leave that off for now. We're going to assume that Ultra is Ultra, and we're going to leave it on that for now. Although I did want to see, where was that option for the higher resolution skybox that they mentioned? It's got to be in here somewhere, right? Presumably. Well, skybox, Ultra. This must be it. Yeah. 16K resolution for people playing on 4K displays or making telescopes. Well, I mean, this is a 4K display, so yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we're just going to launch the off-road car here, and this might result in a long loading screen. Okay, yeah, we're creating the planets. So I will be back once we're done creating the planets. See you guys in just a moment. Okay, loading is completed. That wasn't too bad. It took maybe 4 or 5 minutes, something along those lines. So yeah, not too bad at all. Now, of course, we need to head on over to the alley outpost. So let's go. That's going to be about 7 kilometers. And of course, this is a progression mission, right? This is progression? 99% sure that this is progression. It just says accepted right now. But I'm still 99% sure that this is a progression mission. So let's head on out here. The Ultra preset definitely feels different to me in some way. The image feels a lot softer. And also, we might be having some performance issues, which would be odd given the hardware that I'm running this on. But okay, we could always turn down like the MSAA or something. It's not a big deal. For now, let's just continue to head on over to the alley outpost, and it's looking like it's up on this mountain up here. So that looks absolutely fine for the moment. Cruising over at about 20 meters per second. I would be strongly tempted to run this on 2x, except that I don't know that the explosives will survive if we hit the ground, like, the ground rejection bug that the wheels get occasionally at 2x. And that would be definitely spicy. Well, let's just bring this out over here. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit. So we could definitely try it on 2x. We could make a quick save here, just in case, and then we could just periodically quick save. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Question is, do we want to go around this or over it? I'm thinking probably over. So let's just head on directly at this thing. Directly-ish, anyway. This has some pretty sensitive turning, so there's definitely that. Okay. So we've got about 3.8 kilometers to go here. Again, this is one of those situations where I would be like, it seems like this should probably be delivered by helicopter if we felt like building a helicopter. This is definitely the faster way to go about it, though. Okay, so I'm thinking about how to go about... Okay, sure. So, that's not shocking. We're just going to quick load. That's probably because we were on 2x. Oh. When we quick loaded, they fell out. Let's try a quick load again. Well then. I guess we need to undo an exit. Because quick loading causes them to fall out of our fairing here. So I think the reason why that ended up exploding there was probably because, well, A, we were in 2x, but that's probably not the ultimate reason. I'm guessing that what happened there is the fairing impacted the ground. I don't know for an absolute fact, but that would be my theory. So if that's the case, then we are going to be on 2x, but I'm going to not go over this area. We're going to go around and through the pass over here, and we'll see how that ends up feeling. So we're going to be heading up over this direction, and just hope that we don't have this impacting the ground, because, you know, that would be problematic. Cool. So it's definitely a little bit tedious to do these missions, but it is a progression mission, so let's just get this done, and then we can move on to more interesting missions, hopefully. I wonder how many more of these deliveries we're going to have for progressions. I mean, they're a pretty simple mission. They just take a while, and there's not much to say about them, right? It's just a little bit tedious. You're just driving a car. Okay, so we have about 4.5 kilometers to go here. We went up that way previously. I just want to see what we've got going on over here. This might be a safer route. That would be the hope, anyway. You know, it looks like it's safer-ish. I'm not sure I want to go down into this, like, crater here, almost. Okay, we're going to go around up this way. We should probably take this off of 2x. I'm going to try making a quick save again, just in case. But I'm not 100% certain that we are going to be in a situation where we can actually revert to that quick save. We might be better off coming to a complete halt and making a quick save. That may be the way to go. Okay, so we're going to have to make our way around here. I'm going to bring us to a halt. Okay, we're halted, quick saving, and we're moving again. Let's see if that makes a difference. I don't really want to go up and over this. Let's go this direction for now. Seems like a slightly gentler path to take. And our main issue right now, of course, is just that this is quite far back from the wheel, right? So we might want to think about a different delivery mechanism if we have to do more of these in the future. But for now, I don't really want to be moving too fast as we crest this. Okay. I wouldn't mind necessarily going up the mountain here. But we would want to be careful once we reach the top. We'll see how that goes, because we don't want to go careening down the way we did previously while we have these explosives. So we're about 2 kilometers away right now. And continuing to wind our way on over. So let's just move this way for now. And yeah, I kind of want to go straight at the outpost from here, but I don't want to get too much air as we crest these, like, mini peaks. So we're going to definitely decelerate as we go over them. Just in case. Okay, I'm not loving this necessarily. I want to go up this way, I think. Like that. And then come at this from this angle. We're about 1 kilometer away from the outpost as of right now. There we go. And I'm thinking we come around this way. And then we angle up over here. About here or so. Yeah. About like that. So this looks like this is going to be no real problem. We just had to be a little bit cautious with it. Which isn't shocking. Okay, so we're about 500 meters away right now. I'm a little concerned about cresting this hill here because I do expect it to drop off somewhat, at least, on the other side. So I'm decelerating as we come up here. Oh, okay, this isn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be as far as the drop-off goes. Cool. So now we just need to navigate the walls here. So we need to go around to the entrance. About like this. And then drop off the explosives up here. Wonderful. Braking. And let's drop them. There we go. Beautiful. So in that flight, we will recover our craft. Excellent. Okay, now what? Let's see what we've got here. There's these stations, of course, and then there's this one. Go through all checkpoints. Track distance is 24.9 kilometers. Speed isn't important. Long distance to drive over steep terrain. You may want to consider flying from point to point or a hybrid approach. And we do get tech points if it's crewed. Okay. So that's definitely interesting. I'm wondering if maybe we should build a really weird helicopter, like a gyrocopter almost. This is gonna be bizarre. I'm gonna run some experimentation on it anyway. Let's see. We do have this skyline prop here. Noted. Okay, so a really, really strange helicopter, right? So we've got this skyline prop here, and we would attach that on there. I do want to put on a capsule here. So what's the lighter capsule? These are the same? Okay, that's just a bit larger. It's the same weight, though. Sure. We could put in a cockpit like this. This is ridiculous looking. I don't think we're going to go with that. So we've got this crew capsule here, right? And this is not exactly how I want this to go. Let's actually just use the space capsule for now. And then I would put the propeller on here. Now, we're going to need to bump up the size of the electric motor, and the propeller itself, 2 blades is probably... We can only go up to 3 blades. Okay, this is the largest blade size that we can have. Okay, and we don't have manual variable pitch unlocked yet. So that's noted. The question is, can this even lift off of the ground? That's an interesting question. Well, let's put this out on the pad here. I'm not even sure where this needs to come from. Let's go for like the alley pad for the moment, and we'll see where this needs to be. So this is a very long ways away, 790 kilometers. Okay. Can we even lift off of the ground with this propeller? No. I'm not shocked about that. Okay, let's pull this back then. Undo an exit. Okay, so that is fine, but we need a larger propeller. No doubt about that. Let's hop into the tech tree then, and we could see about potentially grabbing something down here. Let's see. I'm sure there are parts for building a helicopter type craft here, but pushing air, this would be what we would need. Propeller blade count up to 5. We get access to the Explorer and Interceptor prop. Yeah, that would be what we would probably need for that. Do we have a time limit on this current contract? They said that time didn't matter. Yeah, time does not matter here. So we do get tech points if crewed. Long distance to drive over steep terrain. But I'm guessing these landmarks are going to be very low. So if we used a plane, this probably isn't going to work. So if we hypothetically used like this insane device here, if we did this from the village runway, I'm willing to bet that we're going to have a very hard time visiting these landmarks because we need to get to the start checkpoint, right? So the first one is 1.53 kilometers over that way. So I'm thinking that if we want to do this in this way, the plane would not be the way to do it, is my guess. Okay, so let's just get off of the pad here. There we go. And I just want to scout this out a bit. So we're going to fly up over there. We're probably going to revert this, but I want to soar around over this way. And just take a look at where that start checkpoint is. Yeah, that's on the ground. For sure. So a helicopter would be the way to go if we were going to fly. Okay. Well, let's just undo and exit that. And we could maybe try to make this be considerably more insane. So let's do a new craft here. And the idea here would be that we would put in a chair here with a single druid on it, like that. Then what I'm going to do, and this is going to start getting silly, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in struts. I'm going to do a strut out over... I want to attach it to the side. I want to attach it right over here. Okay, that's not the angle that I want, but that's close. Yeah, right there. There we go. And now what I want to do is I want to put in another strut up here. So at an angle of 0. There we go. And this angle is definitely not what I want it to be either. So I want this to be, well, this should be like 0.1 meters. And then back here, we could have this also be about 0.1 meters. Then I want this guy to be attached like that. This would be 0.1 meters. And this would be 0.1 meters. Okay. So it would be something kind of like this, right? Then we would put on a skyline prop up here. And this skyline prop would be maximized on the electric motor. Although maybe not. Well, we'll see how that feels. Max this blade count up to 3. Like that. And then the blade control is currently fixed. Now, we're going to have basically no control over this right now. This is not going to be amazing. But I want to see if this can even get off the ground. We could do something very dumb like this. And I'd like to reduce down the length of this to maybe like 1.25 meters. Like this. And have it sit something like that. The question is, does that even lift off the ground? Okay, so we're going to have very little pitch control at this point, and basically no way to steer this or orient it in any meaningful way. That's understood. So this is 12% thrust, 37% thrust, 75% thrust, and oh, that's an interesting result. It's not a useful result, but it's definitely an interesting one. That's pretty hilarious, actually. So we've made a merry-go-round at this point. Okay. So we can see that our vertical speed is not high enough. We're not lifting off of the ground here. So we could definitely just do it via car. I don't think that's a great option. Or we could be even dumber about this. Oh yeah, that's going to go great with those, with the propeller blades clipping together like that. I actually want to know if that's going to cause a problem. The propeller blades are actively clipping together. Okay, so this is actually, it did, ooh, hello. This is actually kind of lifting us off of the ground, but we have no real attitude control, right? So that's understood. Let's go ahead and undo and exit this, and we're going to need to do a couple of things. One, we're going to need to select this guy. We're going to need to have some volume for gyros. So we're going to do something like this, and that's understood. So that's going to give us some gyroscopic control here. Not a lot, but it's going to give us some. And the question is how much? So at this point, what I want to do is I want to have this on, and I want to have our pitch be set to 90. Okay, so let's lift this off. We are not getting any altitude at this point. This is really dumb. This is really, really dumb. I'm finding it very interesting that we're not there. We're starting to get a little bit of altitude, but this is mostly just bouncing off of the ground from our rotation. So right now I'm wondering, should we have our blades be counter-rotating to counter this effect? If we did that, we're not going to get off the ground. I'm 95% certain about that. But this is an interesting result, for sure. It's not a good result, but it's an interesting one. No doubt about that. We're about to run out of battery, and I'm just going to let that happen. Fascinating stuff. Okay, so that's pretty hilarious. No doubt about that. I actually feel like this might be viable in a really weird sort of way. So mass is going to be a problem, but I'm willing to bet that we don't need our electric motors to be this big. So we're clamped at 2,500 RPM. Let's clamp it at 3,000, and let's put our electric motors at 50%, and let's see what that does. That'll reduce our overall mass a fair amount. The question is, will it give us any ability to take off? Will that reduce our RPM? Are we reaching max RPM? Oh, hello. So that's happening. Okay. So you note our velocity is going down here. And you note that we're getting some distance out over this way. Now, that's not necessarily what we want, but we can head out over this direction, and we definitely need a little bit more attitude control than this. But this is an interesting result, to be sure. Now, we're going to fall out of the sky here, and there's nothing we can really do about that, because that's going to happen. Surprisingly, Yuri's fine. Okay, this is hilarious, but that is a very good result right there. Believe it or not, that's a good result. So I want to move this down, and we're going to add, this is going to add mass, right? The mass addition here is going to be the major problem. We're going to have a significant mass limiting factor. So at this point, that's going to be a huge amount of gyroscopic mass, and this is probably too much gyroscopic mass, but I want to see how this goes. I also want to see if we can take off at all with this amount of mass. We can. Okay, so that's noted. What is our hover RPM? Higher than this. Okay, so our hover RPM is higher than that, for sure. We would need to solve the slight problem of attitude control, right? Attitude control is definitely a problem, and I would like to see about making these counter-rotate. So if we select this, and as well as inverting the attached motor's input controller if sync with motor is enabled. Presumably it's enabled by default. But that does it for all of them. Okay. So that's noted. So what we would need to do is we would need to break the symmetry. And we would have it be in mirror symmetry like this. Then we duplicate that and we put it about here. We'd want it to be at the same height, and we could adjust that later on. But this didn't grab everything here. This only grabbed the one. The one component. So I'm going to completely turn off the symmetry. And I'm going to reattach this guy. There we go. Man. Okay, I guess I'll put it here, and we'll just have to do it this way. I don't like doing it like this. I would prefer to fully duplicate the whole thing, but I guess this will have to do. Okay, so something like that. Now I want to grab this guy, and I want to have this be reversed. And this is not reversed. Then I want both of these to be in mirror mode. Or I guess in Radial X2 mode. Like that. Now the question is 4 enough to take off? And those are now counter-rotating in theory, so we shouldn't have that spin pickup. Four is enough to take off. Okay, so now you'll note here that our overall pitch is a little off. But overall, this is pretty controllable. So we would set our heading in the direction that we want to go, which would be out over like here. And then we would set our pitch to be out over here, right? And then that would overall allow us to move in the direction that we wanted to go. Now, I don't know what our overall hover velocity is, and we would have to, change our pitch to be out over here. And our pitch would really not want to be this low. Oh, okay. Why are we pitching that way? That is not the direction we want to be pitching in. That's interesting. So we have some control issues here, but this is nothing that we can't solve. In theory. Now, this is still insane. I don't think that this is a great idea, but I'm wondering about 50% thrust? That's not enough to lift us off? Okay, what about 60? No? 70? No. 80? Still no. It's about 80-some%. Okay. And then we immediately pitched over like that because I didn't have this properly set up. But that's fine. So that's definitely progress. I don't know that we actually want to go this route, though. We might want to just drive it, to be honest with you. But for now, let's just position ourselves about like this. And off we go, in theory. This is like 5 degrees off or so. Noted. So then we get ourselves a little bit of velocity going out this direction, right? And then we would back this off to maybe like 88% thrust or so. You can see we're losing altitude at this point in terms of our apoapsis. And we're heading just towards the start checkpoint. So we're probably going to undershoot this hop. This is a very silly way to go about it. This is very, very silly. And I don't know that this is a good idea at all. I'm not very experienced at this sort of flight, that's for sure. Let's bring this back over here and start braking. We're moving at 50 meters per second right now. Okay, yeah, we're going to overshoot this. And this is absolutely fascinating. But we're probably going to have a much easier time simply driving it. Regardless, this was an interesting experiment. I mean, this is the fundamentals of how helicopters work, right? So, helicopters are very, 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 very complicated to fly. And we're probably not going to pursue this, but it was interesting, nevertheless. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're probably just going to drive it, to be honest. And that'll be fine. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Hiro Marutsu, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.